help, there's no better feeling than helping someone accomplish a big, big goal. And I've done that now twice.
What's up, Wealthy Nation? Welcome to the Your Wealthy Journey Show. It's the place where I interview successful entrepreneurs weekly on their business success journey. And today we have our guest, a very special guest, and his name is Cauveé. And who is Cauveé? Cauveé is the founder of Cauveé Global. He's known as an inspirational engineer with Cauveé Creative. He's also an American strategist, investor, lifestyle coach, entertainer, philanthropist, and speaker. And Cauveé has also been featured in Huffing Post. And if you haven't heard his music as yet, you need to go and listen to his music. It's very inspirational and it will lift you up. Cauveé, how are you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? I appreciate you having me on, Joseph. I'm super excited to talk with everybody and connect. So thank you. That was an awesome introduction. And yeah, let's rock it out.
Awesome, man. What are you doing there right now? I normally don't see people walking on the interviews, so this is something special and unique. So what's going on there, man?
So I'm big on, and what you'll find is the most successful people in the world that we all look up to, people who watch Shark Tank, things like that, they're big on health. Everybody's so in the entrepreneurial world, we're so caught up in our life and we're so, just in it, right? That we don't, sometimes our health sometimes suffers. So I'm actually on a tread desk right now as we're talking. So it's a hybrid of a treadmill and a desk. And usually I'll do this while I'm in meetings, business meetings, and always with a philosophy to feed multiple birds with one seed. So that's what I'm doing.
Wow. Yeah, I think you need to send us a picture of how that desk look. Very innovative.
It's actually quite funny because I didn't want to invest in a desk. I actually posted a picture on Facebook the other day. I actually created it. It was actually just a regular desk. So what I did, because entrepreneurs are always being resourceful, I just took an ironing board and put it across the desk. And then I put books on top of that ironing board to stabilize it. And now it's a tread desk. So that I use the ironing board for multiple things. Now you can order, there's different companies out there that do have tread desks. It just, for me, I'm about to be on tour. So it doesn't make sense, being that I'm not going to have a physical location, to invest into a tread desk when I'm not going to actually have a physical home. So I was like, I'm not going to invest in a desk. Like, that just doesn't make sense right now. So that's what I did.
Awesome, man. You're very innovative. Well,
I appreciate that.
Okay, awesome, man. Cauveé, we heard a bit from myself who you are, but let us know who you really are from you. We want to hear it from your mouth. What is a inspiration engineer?
So, good question. An inspiration engineer is really about breaking the box, right? What happened with me is I had to separate myself from everybody, and I did it in a way that was different. I think a lot of people are so used to all the influencers out there. They say to, do X, do Y, do Z, whatever, and they don't really know what it is they want to do. And there's a lot of things they do well. So I started as a musician, and it was funny because my dad was like, you could be anything you wanted to be, when I was in the 6th or 8th grade, and I wanted to be a musician. That's what I wanted to do. And when I told him, I was like, I want to be a musician, he's like, not that, like, do something else, like, just don't do that. So it was funny because they were trying to protect me. So I always wanted to be a musician. That's what I saw in my heart of hearts. As my career grew from 2002 to 2015, I worked a lot of different corporate jobs, got a lot of different skills, from strategist to marketing to sales to design to audio engineering, being a singer, being a rapper, being a mastering engineer, like doing all these things. I didn't fit in any one single box. And so long story short, I had all these different titles that I came up with that sounded good to me. And I let the community vote on their favorite ones. And so they voted to a top, it went from 10 to about 5. and then we voted again from 5 to 2, and then we voted again between the top 2 picks. Everybody chose Inspiration Engineer, and that's how the Inspiration Engineer was born.
Oh, wow. And how long are you already like doing this, what you are doing, like creating music? I know you're creating music, inspiration music. How long has Cauveé Global been started?
So technically, I mean, the technical answer is it's been around for 17 plus years because it's really just an extension of me. However, as far as officially like filing the brand, getting it started, we're still in the process of getting certain things together. So when you look at Tony Robbins and you research his entity, it's the Robbins Research International brand. However, Robbins Research International, when you Google it, it just pulls up Tony Robbins. So Cauveé Global is the entity that kind of holds all of the brands. We have multiple brands within our brand, and Cauveé Creative is one of those. So 2 years ago, I officially filed Cauveé, my name, as an LLC, and we're in the process now of getting all the brands under the umbrella company in addition to our foundation charity brand. So we've got a lot of organizational things we're doing this year, but does that answer your question?
Yes, a bit. The I want to know a bit more about the music part. Like, how did that idea come about to create inspiration music?
Sure. So I was already doing a lot of music before, a lot of hip hop, going up to people and performing and things like that. And when you are labeled as a rap guy or you're stereotyped, is really what it is. It falls into line with what doesn't serve me. And then a lot of the rap culture is really involved in a lot of things like, you know, drugs and alcohol and a lot of things that just don't fit. So being, you know, with my mindset, I do a lot of positive programming. I do a lot of inspirational type of content, like podcasts I listen to, shows like this one, things of that nature where I'm learning. And one day it just hit me like, I'm going to start creating music that it's almost like a positive affirmation, right? When we think about a positive affirmation, you're programming a certain phrase that you're going to say over and over and over again. So I was like, what if a positive affirmation was in a song and it was the song? And when I had that thought, I was like, oh, we're going to go ahead and build motivation music. And now it's a trademark and that's what we do. So that's how that kind of came together.
Wow. And how long ago was this?
So we started the MVP of the Empire in 2015 of August. Okay. So it's fairly still really new. A lot of people, I don't know if you got a chance, and you guys can go on Cauveé.com/about, but you can check out the Empire deck. So the Empire deck, in my mind, you know, when you think about like an Elon Musk or Richard Branson, an Oprah, people that have these very large empires, they didn't really have any information out there of how you build it. So I just started building. I mean, I just started working. And so that deck really shows all the different pieces of the Cauveé umbrella. And long story short, that 2015 was when we started doing it. People fell in love with it. And everybody's like, where can I buy it? Which is great. And we're like, it's not public yet. So you can listen to the sampler, but it's not available for purchase. Because we're not positioning like a traditional musician who puts his or her content on radio, and they do that because in the music world, musicians don't make a lot of money, if at all, on streams. So we want to change the valuation of how music is even perceived. So that's our ultimate goal, is to help musicians, because musicians are not making really good money, and change that model. And so that's why it's not public yet, but you can definitely get just a little sample online.
Yeah, the samples are really awesome to listen to.
Thank you.
So you're actually about 2 to 3 years in business with Cauveé, the music side of it. What was your biggest struggle like in the first year of getting your business together?
My biggest challenge, and it still is a challenge, is explaining to everyone what I do in a really simple format. So what happened was, I would go up to people, I would go to Chamber of Commerce and when I was networking, people would say like, what do you do? And I would say, I'm a salesperson. Or if I was talking to people in marketing, I was a marketing guy. That's how the inspiration engineer came to be. But the biggest problem was I was seeing the whole hierarchy organization. So trying to tell people, I felt like I was diluting who I am by not really sharing the whole picture. So that is the biggest challenge, is for people to understand it quickly, because people's attention span is short. So they want to get it and they want to get it quick. But the interesting piece is that it's contradictory, right? Society says, be simple. I want it quick. But if you're going to Mars and you're Elon Musk, majority of people aren't going to understand how you get there. So it's okay. I got to a point where I was okay with people not understanding what I was building. And I had an angel investor sit down with me, and I had all the data points of each project, and they were layered like, one on top of the other. And each one was in green, trending the right way. And he looked at it and he said, man, I really think you're onto something here. And he was like one out of maybe 100 that actually told me that. And I was like, yes, like somebody actually sees it, like, ah! And so I was like so hyped. And so at that moment, it just was like, I don't care if everybody understands it. I understand it. And I'm going to build it the way I want to build it. And everybody will understand it when the time's right. And it just kind of went just like that.
Have you maybe thought of creating something, maybe a video or something, like to explain to people what you really do and what your vision is with what you're doing?
Yeah, the explainer videos are actually being edited right now.
Okay.
We're still in the process of, you got the speaker side, the consulting side, the musician side, the coach side, the education. So there's a lot of pieces. So you need a lot of different explainer videos, to show what you do. And then you need a sizzle reel, which is basically a choppy cut of all those different videos. So we're working on getting that this year. So we'll be speaking at TED here in the next couple of days. There will be a video around that. And we've got some other videos, including a music video that we're prepping to launch. So I can't go into too much detail, but those are a few projects that are coming. So the videos are coming, and everybody will start really understanding what we're building over the next year and a half, because we'll start amplifying the message and amplifying those videos and getting them out there. So that's the plan of action.
Wow. I don't really see many people doing what you're doing. I know about this guy, Chris Record. He's actually into making certain music every week, and that inspirational side of it. But do you see a lot of people doing what you're doing, or do you say, hey, no, I'm one of the only one with such a big dream?
I'm not the only one. There's one guy who's a good friend of mine named Saul Paul out of Austin that's doing it. He's more of like an acoustic player, and he puts his music more on the front. So he's what they call an artistpreneur or a musicpreneur. And so he puts the music on the front. I don't necessarily put the music on the front, but it's embedded with what we do. I put more of the business services on the front and let the artistry sit in the pocket for a little moment. But we're definitely not the only one. There is a movement happening, and I can't fully go into one of the projects I'm working on right now, but I can just share that our ultimate goal is to change the whole ecosystem. I'm talking about a full ecosystem for creatives, right? So you think about like a Kevin Hart, who's a comedian. He's got all these different facets to his brand. He is an empire, right? He's a comedian, but he's an empire. So with that stated, right now, angel investors and venture capitalists don't understand creative art. So if you're a painter, you're a writer, you're a musician, you can't go raise funds like an entrepreneur can go and raise funds. And so ultimately, we're on a mission to level that playing field. And that's why strategically we're positioning the way we are, because when people think musician, they think non-business oriented person. And it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. So we're on a mission to change that and want to connect with as many creatives out there as possible.
Okay, awesome, man. And one question, are you 100% satisfied as the person you are right now, or do you think that you can go another level in your mindset and in your business?
Oh man, I think the moment that a person thinks that they have made it is the moment they go on the decline. If you ever get to a situation, in my opinion, where you think I have arrived, that's the moment you go backwards. So I don't think I'll ever officially arrive. I think I'll keep getting better, and I think I'll keep improving. And I hope that the people that I work with and that are around us and that are part of what we're doing, we also can help them improve. But I look at it like a phone. You know, every year a new phone comes out. Like we're at the iPhone X, right? So every year they just add some new features and add some new things. And I think a person is best served to always keep improving.
Okay, awesome, man. And the person that you have become, because it's a journey that you went through, right?
Sure.
What's the best book that you've read so far that you can say, hey, this book really made an impact in my life?
Man, there's been a few. It would depend on, to really answer that, it would depend on where I was at that stage of my life. Okay. So the Bible has to be my number one. I mean, I'm a very spiritual guy, so the Bible is my number one. If we have to look at natural books, then I would say it would be Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. It was a big, big book for me, changed my life. There's one, if you are an entrepreneur who is looking to build your founding team, like CEO, COO, your CTO, like your chief staff. There's one called The 4 Obsessions of an Extraordinary Executive. I love that book. Like, that was huge for me. And I would also put, you know, they say a lot of people know their what and their how, but they don't know their why. And so Simon Sinek's Start With Why was a really good like validation point where I was like, yeah, like they don't understand. Like, because they said I couldn't do this, like that's why. And so having those three, I think, are some really good references to put into your library.
Okay, maybe this is a personal question, but what's your biggest why in doing what you do, going after your dream?
Our why is because they said you can't. There is someone in your world, maybe a parent or a guardian, a teacher, a coach, a best friend, a cousin, someone along your journey is going to tell you you can't have and you can't be what you said you wanted to be. And I've always been rebellious in spirit. It was funny, I guess my parents talk about when I was like 5 years old, like they would give me like, you know, mashed potatoes and peas and all this stuff I didn't want to eat. And so I would negotiate my peas for my candy when I was like 5 years old. Like, I'll eat this much peas if you give me this much candy. And so, you know, they talk about that story a lot. And so I've always been that guy to like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me, you know, who I am. Don't tell me these things. And so that's why I think people settle and they think because this person has good intentions or bad intentions for that matter, and they tell me this about myself, that it's valid. And I think that we have to understand that that's that person's opinion of you, but that doesn't make you who you are or what you can be.
Okay, awesome, man. And what's one big crazy thing that you want to accomplish this year with your business or with your personal self?
This year for me, what scares me, and I hope it happens this year, I met another entrepreneur that wants to do it, is skydiving.
Wow.
That scares the crap out of me. I mean, it just does. But I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. So that's huge.
Okay. When are you planning to do that? Because that's one of my things to do. I'm scared of height, but I really want to do
that. So we are waiting on, there's a shout out to Joshua B. Lee out in Austin, Texas for Monsterpreneur. I messaged him already and waiting to hear back. They do adventures for entrepreneurs. And the last time I saw him, I asked him to let me know when the next one is. So the girl who I was just talking to named Sunny just a little bit ago, she mentioned it again. And I was like, well, let me reach back out to Josh and see when we can get it on the timeline. So as soon as one of us, either she or I, get it on the timeline, it'll be ASAP. But we don't have any expected date. We're waiting on one of our network to hook us up with that. Do you know of anywhere where we could do that? Do you have any references for where to go?
No. Where I'm at, they don't do those things. So I have to get over to your country. I'm in Suriname, South America. So, and I think you're in the States, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think if I have to do that, I have to come over to your place or wherever you are and do it there.
Yeah, Austin, Texas would be a great place to go, and I can connect you with Josh as well if you want to reach out to him. That's a Monstapreneur, Monstapreneur.
Okay, awesome. And what does wealth means to you?
Great question. I think wealth is all about personal fulfillment. And I think people need to understand it's not money. Reason why I say it's not money is because there are so many people out there. And I'm going to ask you, have you ever heard of a story or read a story where somebody had all this wealth, money, and they were unsatisfied and, killed themselves or, anything like that? Have you ever heard of a story like that?
Yep, there have been quite a
Yeah,
few.
quite a few. So that tells us, we look at it like a math equation that tells us that the formula does not, money may help help you get to fulfillment. It is maybe one of the pillars within fulfillment, but it ultimately is not the pillar for fulfillment. So for me, it's being around phenomenal people, people that inspire me, give me energy. It is creating memorable experiences. Like hopefully you and I get a chance to go skydiving together. That'd be
Yeah,
dope, right?
yeah.
It's putting a smile on people's faces and watching them light up, especially not only from the entertaining side of it, but also when, as a coach, when somebody's stuck in their business or they're stuck in their life and they need that help, there is no better feeling than helping someone accomplish a big, big goal. And I've done that now twice, like really officially, where it was a total life change for the person. I helped a lady get her associate's degree, which was just an awesome story, and overcome some really big challenges. And then a gentleman last year I was working with helped him become a six-figure at Zillow, and he became one of the number one salespeople there, which Zillow is like a $6 billion company. So those were like two like really, really awesome moments. So those would be the things that make me fulfilled personally.
Okay, and how do you think that others or people can get fulfilled doing um yeah how can people get fulfilled in business and in their personal life?
Well, the first thing would be to ask yourself what makes you truly happy, right? And be honest. Some people I think aren't honest. I think they give answers that are they think it's what somebody should want them to say, right? Like what really makes you happy. The second thing would be, what are you really passionate about, right? There should be something in your life that you could do whether somebody paid you or not. And if you find that and you focus on that, then that, I believe, you can figure out a way of how to make money with it. Okay? So those two things are huge in the fulfillment category. If you're doing a job or you're doing something solely just to make money, I don't think that's a long-term play. I think that's a short-term play. And I don't think it's wise to focus on that. And then additionally, just figure out the things that you feel, like attracts you. Like, and I'll give you one example. So, a lot of people, they need companionship, right? They need a wife or a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and that's what they need. And I was a guy, I didn't really like that. That'd be nice, but it's not what drives me. So you gotta figure out what really you need. And as you figure that out, I think, and ask the right questions, that'll lead you to the right answers.
Okay, awesome, man. And I know you mentioned this earlier in our talk, or you named quite a few names, but who's your top role model in business?
Oh, that's a good one too. Man, there's a few. So you guys should definitely go follow if you like Eric Thomas, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins. I like there's so many people. Lewis Howes. Lewis Howes is a big one for me. I love that guy. The Tim Ferriss. There's a lot of people. Oh, Damon John. I love Damon John from the Shark Tank. So I wouldn't say it comes down to one natural human being, but those would be a few to go research and study.
Okay, awesome. Okay, now here's maybe a tricky question. Picture this: you were somewhere, maybe enjoying a meal or a dinner, and someone comes and they hold a gun to your head, and they said, "Give me $1 million idea." They're not asking for your money, but they say, "Give me $1 million idea, and I'll let you go." What will you tell that person?
I would tell them, I could give you $1 million idea, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be useful for you.
Mm.
You weren't expecting that.
Wow, that's the
So
hardcore truth.
anybody can. That's a hardcore truth. It may be $1 million idea for me, but it doesn't make it $1 million idea for you. Everybody's different. And so if somebody wants I think a lot of people go to the successful people and think they know all the answers. And it doesn't mean that my journey is necessarily going to resonate with your journey, or my advice is necessarily going to resonate. And I think the moment that people understand that, just because one person had a path and they went a path and it worked for them, that doesn't mean that that path is going to work for you. And what I've found is you have to test everything. Test everything. And as you test everything, it'll lead you to answers, and that is the path you stay on. So if somebody put a gun out and that was their question, hey, you'd have to you'd have to kill me, but you'd have to work for that life. They'd have to fight me for that life. But that would be my answer to them.
Awesome. That's a hardcore truth. And to add to that, not everyone's journey is the same or alike. Everyone's journey is unique, special, and different. Even though people are in the same branch or in the same niche, nothing is alike because everyone is unique. And talking about
Amen.
that, what would you advise young people and millennials to do to turn their business idea into a business reality?
So you want to start. We have three pieces of our curriculum that I feel are your prerequisites. So here in the United States, what the United States university or education system says is before you can go into your core, which is like what you want to study, like if you want to study psychology or whatever, before you can get into your core classes, you have to take a baseline of like math and history and all these things that I personally don't believe a person, should be a requirement. But I would tell a person they need a foundation. They do need a foundation of education. And I would put them in these this order of three. So the first thing I would master is public speaking, because 75% of men and women in this country, they don't like to get up in front of an audience and speak. And if you can't speak, you can't do number two, which is sell. You want to master the ability, the art of persuasion without manipulating, without lying, and feeling very comfortable whether you're talking to someone or whether you're sending an email. So public speaking, sales, and then the third one, if we want to amplify our message, marketing. We would want to understand how to amplify communication to do a lot of sales. And those would be the three things that I would focus on if I was just getting started. And outside of that, I would tell people to try a lot of different things if you don't know what your passion is. I find a lot of young folks, and I'm still a young person myself, right? But a lot of people, they're not sure. They're like, Cauveé, I don't know what I'm passionate about. It's like, okay, well, try some things. There's nothing wrong with not knowing, but you won't know if you don't go try. So go try some things until something sticks and you're like, oh, I love this. And whatever that is, go with that.
Awesome. And how can we best connect with Cauveé?
You can hit me up on Twitter and LinkedIn. Those are the two biggest places to hit me up right now. I am on all channels, but I'm on those channels the most. So if you want to hit me up, send me a connect for sure on LinkedIn and tweet me at Cauveé, CAUV as in victory, E as in elephant, E as in elephant.
Okay. Cauveé, I want to thank you for being here on the show with us and sharing your wealthy journey with us. And for that,
Thank
we
you, Joseph.
thank you and we'll see you at the top, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. You guys keep rocking it out. Boots.
Awesome. A Wealthy Nation, go check out Cauveé and his stuff. And remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to become great. Remember,
All right.
it's your
Amen.
wealthy journey.
Woo!
Boom.